outside the backdrop. Yeah. How can you change? Okay, guys, I'm going to start a little early. I got a bunch of super chats coming in, so we could just jump into it, and I'm sure a lot of people will join later. And you can watch the replay. GRR, let's take a look. GR was pushed on stock twits a week or so ago. Let's hope they didn't, go trap some folks in that. Let's hope they didn't trap some folks in that. But maybe not. I know it's an like AI consultant play or something like that. But let me see if I can find it. There. So let's take a look. We're pushing up in wave 5. We did not get the double correction. We just got the little dip here to the wave 4. And now it's looks like it's finished a larger cycle, right? It hasn't given us the confirmation, but it looks like to me that it's over. It looks like it's over. It's over. So if this pulls back, you have to be careful, right, of a big rug pull if this is all 5. But let's just verify our count. Yeah, I mean, we still have the divergences. So you have to respect this count. So it could be a lot of risk, potentially. It could always extend. But it is in danger potentially a hit of a major peak here. If it's a major peak, will come back. It will come back there for sure, but it may actually come all the way back to $11. Remember, on a lot of these big corrections, usually you lose the whole wave 5. And a lot of people up here, it seems unthinkable, but it always happens, almost always. If you watch enough of my videos, we see it. We'll do something like this, like that. We almost always see that. Now, if we do want to push higher, we could easily pull back and extend the cycle. So do I see it coming back here? Yeah, it's likely. It's likely. But the timing's always tricky. This is typically an ended diagonal type pattern after a big move, how a market usually peaks. Sometimes there's an overthrow, but it doesn't have to be. All right, thanks for the super chat. All right, next one is a couple here, MOWI and 10-year bond. Okay, so let's see, MOWI looks like some kind of euro stock. And let's take a look at where we are with that. We were trying to push up to 250, and then like I show here, a big decision has to happen with the market, which is we don't know the future. So it looks like to me you're in the connector wave of the Y, so it should, you should get another push higher. Now this B is a connector within the connector, and we already know you don't trade those, right? Those are not tradable. Now this looks like an A wave down in that, and then you have looks like some other kind of B and a C. So it looks like you got something like that taking shape, and then you could see some more downside for that to play out. I don't like selling it or playing around in this area because I can label this many different ways. I'm just showing you like the more typical view, the classical view, but I do think it still pushes higher to finish this move off and then either continues even higher or it has the rug pull in a massive flat. So you'll have to decide what you want to do here. Perhaps we'll have some clues later we can look at. All right, the NO 10-year. We've looked at this before. Let's take a look at what we got going on. So we were looking for this push lower. Now we didn't get it, so we could still be in this connector. But as we took this peak out here and we never made a low, this could be done. Now this is really early. This is early. We usually would come deeper, so I don't like that. So we need to take a look. The connector is kind of morphed into something a little different. And my guess here is it's turned into some kind of a expanded flat pattern, and some kind of three-way move, and then some kind of impulse off that low. The divergences do confirm a bottom though. I can't label it that way. So we're going to have to not label it, like we're just going to have to assume the cycle is over here because we have 5 up and we're pushing higher. We have to assume that. There's really no. Now this little bit here can easily be, and I hope my resolution's a little better, guys. I went to 1080p for this live stream. Perhaps you notice a difference. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Probably this is what I'm thinking, and then we come off and we come back down and then we come out. So that's what I'm looking for, something like this. Now this box is probably not likely to be hit anymore. So it's looks like a high interest rate environment is coming. But I've been seeing that for years on my channel. Okay. It's just happening maybe a little bit faster than maybe I thought, but it's still not, the ghost isn't clear for the big surge higher in interest rates across world markets, but it's running out of time, and so I mean it's getting close, I think. But this is the count I will go with. Let me change these degrees up so it looks a little better. So you'll have to decide how you want to play that, but that's the count you have to go with. That's the count you have to go with, guys. And appreciate all the super chats coming in. And again, if you're new to my channel, I give a lot of setups. I have different plans available, and you'll see those. All right. INDO is an interesting situation. It's an energy play that I really don't want to get too excited about until oil and the energy market's ready to roll in wave 3 of the grand super cycle. Energy will have a wave 3 of the grand super cycle, guys, and it's yet to be said if it's going to hurt or help the indices or not matter. But this is kind of what I'm looking for on Indo. A little bit capitulation here. Now, again, I can move the 2s around. I can make this one big 1-2. I can make it a 1-2, 1-2. Just depends on where we are. And even if we break this low, it could become an A, B, C. So I still expect a big run higher in the future. I just think you're a slave to the energy market. You're a slave in this stock. If you're married to this stock or stuck in it for some reason, this is what you got to wait for. Oil. And oil, unfortunately, looks like it's got to push lower. On my chart, I can be wrong. And if I am, then the connector will extend and oil could hit the triple digits. That would definitely help Indo. Now, the other thing I want to point out with the energy sector, guys, is here, hold on one second here. Let's take a look. Open up, let's see, the ETFs. ETFs here, XLE. As you can see, looking for this. Now, what if we don't get that and we start to pump and we break, 94, 97? well then wave 2 is already done, and we're in probably starting a big push higher in the grand super cycle. Okay, that's what's and that's bullish for energy, bullish for energy. So, but until this, I mean, you have to ask yourself, this move off this low had somewhat of a sideways. It seems like unreasonable to think the correction, that's all the correction we were able to muster after such a big advance. It seems like we need a bigger shakeout in the energy complex. It wouldn't surprise me if we even fall lower to this area. But for now, that's the setup. Bama, Amazon is, Amazon looks like it's an opportunity for people that are interested in it. I would say that, yeah, I have to be smart about it, of course, but Amazon does have a nice three-wave structure. It's right where we want it. Perfect capitulation, really, and it's taken out all the peaks, indicating we corrected this whole cycle with this push. We're at the wave 4. I mean, it's got a great setup, but as you know, there's no guarantees in anything, so it could easily bounce, and then take another leg lower. It could always do that, or it could just keep going down and go back to 200. So I think, but I think this is the area where you would expect it to bounce on the bigger picture. You've got like a 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now, I don't label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's too short for 3. I don't label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a 5 because this drop corrected this whole move. So that's how I label it. As you can see, that drop really reset the whole cycle there, and you're really resetting the whole cycle here. So so that's why this setup looks really beautiful on Amazon. And then on the, a much higher time frame, if you really look, Amazon could see prices up at $380, $400 potentially from where it is today. Before we stretch out the grand super cycle top here. So I think Amazon's got some more upside no matter what happens here for long-term investors, which is why I have this as a long-term investor alert, right? If you're a long-term investor, what Amazon has done is given you a great entry here. It could always go a little lower, but I mean, at some point you have to start to put money to work. I mean, I think it's if you believe in it, you got a good opportunity to put money to work in a stock that seems pretty bullish to me, and a lot of fundamental investors are still pretty married to. And they still go on TV and talk about, and a lot of guys were talking about billionaires loading up. So I think the fundamental investor is really long it. So I haven't heard. So this is why I really did like this setup here. But good luck on Amazon. Okay, LTCN. Yeah, LTCN had a great little dip there, guys. It had a great little dip. All my elite members were able to pick up and profit from if they had watched my Friday live stream I did for them. And I do like member only live streams for the elite members, especially during volatile times. I try to do it, and we got this little dip here into this area. At the time, we really didn't even have a connector wave, so we kind of just said, this was the area to go long, and so now the market has to push higher. Right, it has to push higher. If it doesn't, then of course it will go a little bit lower. But I think this low more than likely, should hold. If it doesn't, then of course it's detrimental to the chart and to the coin itself, right? Because the coin is backing into a low. We've had a pretty substantial bounce here, resetting the whole leg lower. And if we were to break that low, it would create a whole new cycle lower. Look at this, all that, and we're talking 3, 2, or lower. I mean, we're talking into the abyss potentially if this is missed. So if this isn't hit, so I do see 5 up, which is a good sign. I don't see 3 up. So that's the setup in Litecoin. And then if we look at the coin itself. If we go to Litecoin itself, right, again, Litecoin, we talked about it. Off the February 5th low, it's one of the most bullish altcoins out there because it retraced the whole value and almost took the high out. In fact, it almost did here. So we have this 1, 2. Now, we didn't go to the deep enough, right? So I had this buy set up here. Again, buy set up here. And that's the buy setup right there. Now, we didn't get it. So it could be done, but we could still be in a flat. We could still come back down here. So we have to respect that. So, but this may happen on the weekend and come up, and then it's synced back up with LTCN. But if we don't, if this is the count, then LTCN is just going to keep grinding higher. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to get the flat. So I think it's tough to say. Are we going to go lower? Could LTCN go lower? I think it depends on how crypto does this weekend. And Bitcoin's trying to recover. It's trying to recover from that dump, and you just have to ask yourself, was this like a little flash crash here? Or is this the start of the big move down to here? So we don't know. And again, Litecoin's backing into the low because if we can't hold this level, it's a big connector. Guess where we're going? $20. I mean, we're coming down here, guys. So Litecoin's got it's essentially you're backed into the low. You have to believe Litecoin will continue higher, or Litecoin's going into the depths of hell here. If this can't hold, but look at the reaction out. Very few, if any, crypto had this kind of reaction coming out off of the February 5th low. Not even Bitcoin. Not even the Bitcoin that everyone loves and is so precious to them is still below this peak. Well below it. Not Litecoin. Not Litecoin. Just saying. All right, guys. That's LTCN. I just want to, before I keep going anonymous with your stuff, I just want to scan through the chat just to see what people are saying. Okay, good. All right, the 1080's helping. That's good. Oh, not INDO, INOD. Okay. Sorry about that. I'll come back and get that. I'll come back and redo that. Yeah, if we get that $5,000 dividend, the Doge committee, that is a stimulus on steroids, guys. Think about what the American people would do with $5,000 if they just showed up in their bank account. You're talking down payments on cars, you're talking laptops, you're talking stocks, gamble, you're talking a massive stimulation to the economy, and it's got to be a short inflationary surge. It's going to be like when the COVID money dropped, but even more crazy. So the Federal Reserve will go effing insane if that ever happens. They would want to figuratively go shoot the minister. I mean, they would go absolutely apeshit crazy because that would create a whole new rate raising cycle all over again after that money finally cycles through the system. So yeah, it would be massive inflationary short term, and it would show up. We already know what that playbook would be. That would be the 2021 playbook, the 2020 playbook with COVID drop. Everything melts up. What a perfect wave 3 of 3 situation. That's exactly the type of news that would create Moonboy potentially for the markets. Fundamental investor euphoria and technical euphoria. I think that $5,000 dividend. So you got to take that seriously. I mean, I think Trump says a lot of things that aren't serious, and maybe this is one of them. But if this somehow he pulls that rabbit out of his hat, yeah, I would expect people to front run it, so the markets will start surging right away to front run whatever, and then people will start to anticipate the inflation, and then that's what people are going to do with $5,000 in their bank account. You better believe people are going to go shopping. That's what Americans love to do. They go shopping, right? So they're going to buy things, buy shit. That's what they're going to, and they're going to buy big ticket items with that kind of money. Okay, so let's go back to the one. Let's finish up LTCN. I think like I showed you with LTCN, if it does the double correction down, if it breaks this low at this 1070 low, we're looking at the high $9 to $8. If it breaks this low, I think it goes potentially lower than 5 to 7. I think that this isn't valid anymore. We got to get rid of that. Okay, so that's that. If it stays, well, our final target is where? Do I have my final target on LTCN here? There it is. You know, is Elliott Wave Sage freaking crazy? 65? Well, we got to 54 earlier. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. I don't know, but that's the target. But we don't think about what we can make. We think about what we can lose, right? If we are in a new bull cycle that is born, that just got born, consider yourself lucky to be early. Our elite members were able to get it, and now you guys on the free live stream have a chance as well to because it's still early. But you have to manage your risk. But these things I'm always looking out for, you know, for my elite members, and we've been watching this all week. Okay, but again, nothing's guaranteed. All right, let's go back to that one I messed up on. It was INOD. INOD. I'm going to do INOD. He wrote INDO, but I'm just going to do that other one that you guys are putting in there. INOD. All right, so that's a big move higher. What's going on with that? Well, it's been a long time since we did it. Again, you guys always find these ones really early. So we had this massive 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, we had the threes, right? The blue skies, right? So just we hadn't updated it in a long time, right? But we got the wave 3, obviously, that we were forecasting. But now, more than likely, the easy money is over. So I know people want it to keep going up, but eventually, you know, the people that, whoever asked me about this in 2022, right? I did this chart in 2022. It's time to take some profit. Don't be a greedy bastard, right? You waited so long to get this move, you finally got it. So let's just see if it can continue a little bit more, though. Let's take a look. Again, this is what I talk about when I give my updates. You've got to be patient with my system of trading to have these things work out, okay? Because whoever asked for this update back, I assume it was back in 2022 when I made it, or here, early 23. Look how long you had to wait. But if you waited the 12 or 18 months, your ROI would be more than 1,000 per 10. You're more than a 10 bagger. You see, if you could wait and be patient, you made your 10 times your money in 12 months, a little over 12 months. Okay, so my point is, my system, we catch the pumps before they're pumps. I know people hate that because they want instant gratification. They hate these wave twos and waiting. But if you trust this, you do get paid. And now people want to chase it. And guess what? If you were the one that bought it here, they're paying you today, chasing it. Let them chase it. So we can't chase it. Now, is the cycle finished? It doesn't look like it. It looks like it may go a little higher. We have our first divergence, which is a warning sign. So we're probably at in this 3 at any moment. It should continue a little bit higher. It should. I don't think that's a big 5th wave, but let me just double check it. No, see, we took it out. Okay, so I think we're good with this count, and then this should peak. It may have peaked here soon. It's got this 4s and 5s to play out. And then even another set of 4s and 5s, even after that. So it probably is going to be choppy to higher. But the people, if you're still on there, that asked me about it back here, take some profit. God, please take some profit if you happen to be in it still. Okay. All right. Anonymous is another question for BCHG. So again, BCHG, we need a couple things. BCHG needs this fifth wave, and we're getting it. It's almost at our buy. We had it for a while, right? Not as bullish. I mean, be honest, it's not that bullish, right? I don't, I'm not sure why. Not sure why, but I think this is what we're looking for. And if you look at the coin here, Bitcoin Cash, which I always keep an eye on, it's still got some distance here. Now, see, there's some distance here too. So I'm concerned with it for a couple of reasons. One, we're in a bigger corrective sequence, right? We have a big wave 5 top. We usually always lose the fifth, which would bring us right here. We have 5 down and 3 up, or 3 down and 5. You get the idea. If it's 3 down, and 5 up, the low hits the buy area. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, right here, 186. 186.91. We hit it right here. So there's a confluence, whether it's a WXY or an ABC right in here. I suspect this is going to drop. If this is going to drop, this is a danger sign that maybe crypto's going to drop, right? Think about it. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. It's a head scratcher, right? I think. But then let's look at the divergences. You did take the divergence out. Okay? You did. So could this be that bullish and it truncated? And the 2's here. It could. It could. So this is a head scratcher to me, because if we do jump down to this area, I have to assume Bitcoin comes down here. But if Bitcoin is bottomed and we keep pushing higher this weekend and we bottom, then this is bottomed, which also means that we go back to BCHG and it's essentially bottomed as well, breaking that low. And then I just have to play around with the count a little bit to get it to work out, something like that. And it's done, and it truncated. And you should have bought it on Friday, but we didn't know. But the buy area is 286. We had $3. I mean, you could wait. So that's a tough call. Bitcoin Cash is a tough call. If you have conviction about its future, if you have that conviction, right? You love the coin, you love what it's about. God knows, I don't know, and I don't really care about these. But if you do, you buy some here and buy some here. Now, because the future will get you out of this, and the next target is $1,600 with a wick like this, or perhaps, if you're really lucky, even back up to here. So that's the situation it's in right now, and this isn't drawn right. By the way, I gotta draw that right. There. Okay. So you have to decide how you want to do this. Bitcoin Cash should see another swing higher, though, because we do have 5 up off the low. It's an ugly looking chart. Again, maybe I could put that there, but see, we broke that low. I think that's what I originally had a while, but then we only made the 3 up. So, and we got rejected on the trend line, right? We got rejected on the downtrend line, false breakout, rejection. At some point, it will break this trend line. I mean, and when it does, the correction's over. But I think the crypto market is still just trying to decide Does it want to do another little rug pull just to shake out the last weak hands, or is it done and Friday was it, and that was your last best chance in this weekend to maybe ever get Bitcoin under 100,000? And I'm not the only one saying that, by the way. Other people I follow, pro traders, seasoned traders, that have traded the crypto cycle better than I could ever do. They're thinking this may be the last chance you could ever get Bitcoin below $100,000, maybe ever. That's what they think. Now, I don't know. I can't say that. I'll never say something like that. But that's how they feel. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. They have a system they use, and that's how they feel. That's what they think. And so, if that's how they, I just think that it could have truncated. But my system still will require you to be a little more cautious here given this chart, because you could still get this dip, and we could still get this dip. And if we do, well, then we could definitely be more aggressive with a lot of confidence. Here it's very you're really it's really a speculative long, and you'd be buying against that wick. And you see you already have the 3 down. So you would have to have a fresh 3. So it's tough. It's a tough call on Bitcoin Cash. All right, GSOL. GSOL is, we need to look at the premium. We have to look at the premium. The premium has to become 1-to-1 with this, whatever this is, and then GSOL should be okay. I've updated my Solana chart to show it as a 1-2, but I'm showing this now as a 1-2. I'm looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we really have 3 sharp waves down with massive divergence being erased. So I'm really looking at it here, and then the target actually worked out really nicely when I did that. It fit up perfect right where we found support. So I think technically this seems like the right place, and here's our wave 4. We lost our wave 5. I like this better. So potentially Solana's in an area to turn, like most of crypto potentially, in a 1-2, 1-2 setup. So the idea is GSOL ready to go, ready to roll? Well, you don't go into GSOL if it's got a premium, right? We are looking for this C leg, but we need this 17.99 to erase the premium. If it can't do that, you really have to understand, and be careful buying it. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, premium, you shouldn't buy the Grayscale products. Research on the internet what that means, what I'm talking about, and then you could decide to buy those. So right now, when you buy 1 share of GSOL, 1 share for $17.99, you're not getting you're getting 0.0737 Solana. Okay. So if I do the math, you need about 13.5 of these to get 1 Solana. So it's trading right now at about $244 Solana. 244 right now. Okay? What did we just see its prices? This price is 173. It's trading up here. Now, if this weekend we get a big ass pump and we're up here, then GSOL should be okay. But until those two sync up, until this syncs up with this, as this bleeds and this at some point it's going to marry together, I would assume, or fall or whatever, then GSOL should be stable. But that's what happened to LTCN. Okay, that's what happened with LTCN, but it has not happened with GSOL yet. So the premium can still bleed down. It could still bleed down. So if you need it to get to 173, you need a 30% drop from where we are now. So you got to get to 12.5 bucks on this thing. $12.5. What do you think? what do you think a lot of people will do now? But once it's at 12.5 bucks, assuming Solana stays around where it is, the premium will be 1-to-1, and then it's kind of like buying an ETF. And then it could even go under premium with even better value. And then if an ETF comes out, it's not a big deal. If this converts to an ETF, it's not a big deal. But if this converts to an ETF, the premium will reset back 1-to-1, and I think everything I read, you take a haircut. So who's going to risk that? You'd have to be really, really, really dumb, right, to buy it, knowing they're trying to convert this shit to an ETF, and then it gets approved on some night gets approved, and then it goes live, and then it takes a haircut as they reset the premium on you 1-to-1. You'll look like a fool. Like, what was I thinking? So you can't take that risk. That's why these things are selling off, because all these I expect will be ETFs soon, and their premium is gonna go back to 1-to-1. So you got that. So you can't. I don't encourage anyone to buy these until the premium is 1-to-1. The LTCN did that. It hit the 1-to-1 premium. So I felt more comfortable. And guess what? It's stabilized so far. Now, that's how I look at it. So I think you have to decide how you want to play that GSOL. But again, no surprise it's going lower. I think it could go lower too. Or Solana surges this weekend and it catches up with it. And then it may be okay. All right. I'll go to my elite members. As I mentioned, I always do my elite members first, and then I go into the other members. Now that I got a bunch of super chats on here. Are you wanting us to be members here or on X to get the? So I don't have enough followers to do an X membership. I do plan on doing that at some point. But not right now. I need like 2,000 followers. I don't have enough followers on X. So please tell your friends to follow me. It's crazy. You've got people with hundreds of thousands of followers getting things so wrong. I mean, you had a guy with over 100,000 followers saying buy trade desk in the earnings, and he led his sheep to the slaughter. But remember, I didn't tell you. My 1,000 followers knew what to do on trade desk. But yet I can't, see, I struggle. People drop me after that for some reason. I think some people just follow me just to hope I fail, because every time I'm successful, actually I lose followers. Trade Desk was a huge success for our channel and my members, a huge success. And many were calling to go long in their earnings, but me. Remember that. With as you follow tens of thousands of people, go back on their community and go, why the hell did you say buy trade desk? And because my system worked. It worked. It kept you out of a massive trap, a massive calamity. That's still going on. It's still dropping, guys. Trade desk is still, and it's no surprise it's still going down. It's no surprise. Okay, but anyway, you want to be on members here on X. You want to be a member on YouTube. Got to join YouTube. If you're not sure, just join the basic channel. Get my market updates with a few trades. My elite members get it all. I try to get it all. And my goal is once I get to the 500 milestone of 500 members throughout my community, no matter the level, I will add perks. Add more symbols. I'll cover more and I'll keep the cost the same. No raise in prices, but I'll add more services. So please tell your friends to join. It's only $5. I mean, come on, don't be a stingy bastard. $5. It's nothing. And I tell you, if anything, it's interesting. Even if you don't trade the market, you kind of learn about the economy and things, and you kind of understand what's going on. And I cut out all the fluff. And then finally, maybe you want to join. Maybe you do want to hear me fail. You'd like laugh your ass off. So join, please. I even welcome those people. Join. Just everyone sign up, please. So let's go to CRM, and I will get to all the super chats. So read. CRM's got big earnings coming up. Big earnings and a big moment on their chart, right? A big moment is coming for CRM, and it is in a 3-swing buy area. Now, this swing could push a little lower, right? It could push a little lower because, again, we don't go by symmetry, but it's not symmetry. Like, that would be nice. That would be more beautiful, right? To have it hit 300, 297. But there's no rule that says it has to do that. it would be nice to have the 4-hour erase divergence too, but the daily just did. And the weekly, of course, the weekly's pulled down. So we're in a correction. So what do you got to do here? You got to start to nibble. You got to start to nibble, and you do have a daily gap. So maybe the ideal perfect entry is 299, maybe 298, somewhere around there. But you have earnings. So could earnings be the catalyst for wave 3 of 3? Maybe. But maybe it's this, a catalyst for that. So you have a big event risk. My charts are ideas. They may or may not work, you know, and you'll have to decide if you want to take it or not. If you want to take it. I like the bullish case is we have a 1-2. We broke the B high here and 5 with a net. Remember, we already had a nasty earnings spill before. Is it going to be a repeat, right? A repeat here. So you had a 1-2, and then you came back up and you took this high out. Okay, you almost took it out here. So you got this 1-2 setup. I think it goes higher. Now, could it be a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5? Okay, so it could do that, but that's still higher. Could it be a flat? Doesn't have a good look for a flat. So I think you got to take a little risk here, but understand that you have a big earnings move, and you could still be in this impulse. It could still drop, and it could still recover. Even and it could even still drop within my box to 282. So I can't tell you what to do, but the setup is there for an explosive move higher if Mark Benioff pulls a rabbit out of his hat and talks up his AI agent force, right? He's got this product, right, that you know that monetizes AI supposedly better than anybody, even Microsoft, he says. Well, we'll see how he does. He's got big expectations on that. If he delivers on that, it's probably gone. If he doesn't, and it's a big dud, and he was just a pumper, the shit's gonna go down. But eventually, that agent force will probably work out. So that's what this chart is telling you. It's just, is it going to show up in his guidance? We'll see. This is it right here, right now. Do or die. Do or die for this chart setup. It is a very bullish setup, but nothing's guaranteed. As you can see on earnings, this one was a massive earnings dump. But look, this earnings dump recovered and took out the high. Imagine that. It will do the same thing if it does it again. So just keep that in mind. Good luck on CRM. Okay, Donald. Connell. Coinbase went down, guys. It's a hidden bullish divergence within the crypto market. Bitcoin is at a higher high. It's at a low. It's at a low. Broke all these lows. No, our target is 200. Right, 200. Gap fill this 200. That's our target. Now, could we still be heading there, or did we truncate? Did we truncate? We took the divergence out. We could truncate, right? It doesn't have to. Took it out, barely, but we took it out. So looking at this, why you have the connector, so it could be done, right? You have 1, 2, 3. Now it's not symmetrical. Maybe it goes a little lower, like that. Maybe it does some, but as you can see, everything's going according to plan. We didn't buy it here. We didn't chase it here. We did get that a little dip, but then we got out and long time ago, start my membership service. And then we're just on the sidelines waiting. And now the market is coming where we are. And where's Connell? Just like I've charted it for you. You've asked me about this before, Donald. And we've had this chart. And it's amazing. We're almost there. 27.71. We're almost there. So we're almost there. But we need to check the divergences. We can't buy it a little too early. All right. See, it'd be nice to get a little more on the 4-hour. The daily's there, so it can end at any moment. So this cycle can end at any moment. This whole cycle can end at any moment. And then you'll get the next swing higher. Then after that, who knows? Because it's a leveraged fund. So this is the buy area, 2771, 1994. You get to decide to do what's best for you. Is a risky setup. I give you this chart just to give you my chart. I mean, I'd rather obviously buy Coinbase at 200, but I bet it doesn't get there. I bet it just isn't going to get down this far. And if this is a flat connector, the target could be 223.56. So this could be too bearish. So we probably should put this target up a little bit, but you have this gap. So it's essentially what I'm trying to say, it's a big target. You see, it's a big target here. That's why I don't have this as a trade for my elite members, because it's not a clear trade. So I don't give unclear setups. I only give the setups to my members that are clear. But for you, since you're paying a super chat, I give you, my best guess. But this isn't a clear setup. So that's why I don't like recommend it as a trade, for my elite members, because it's just kind of fuzzy, the fuzzy picture. Because if it does do that, then Connell will probably go deeper down in here. If it just truncates a little bit, well, yeah, then this will probably finish up. So good luck on that. And Tesla is in a situation where it's trying to decide if it wants to make a fifth wave, double correct, find the low here. So we have 3 waves moves down. We have a 3-wave move down. And now we have to decide, is it going to impulse out of this thing next week, or is it going to break the low? If it breaks the low, it could be a 5th wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And what happens after 5 waves? We bounce. But what happens after the bounce? We fail again. Like that. So it could be that, but you can't rule out a shallow connector. And this is the annihilation wave. That's 205. Okay? That's the annihilation wave. That's obviously market black swan type shit happening. That would be this. You can't rule that out either. So the way to trade this was to buy it where we had to go long. My pro members and elite members, we got to buy. And literally, we bought it almost to the penny exactly before it turned. And now, what happened the other day, it doesn't matter to us because we're still in the green. This shit doesn't matter because we bought it at the right moment. It's still in the green. Now, if we come back down and we stop out, we stop out. Who cares? I don't give a shit. To me, Tesla's just 4 letters. It doesn't mean nothing to me. But will I buy it again later? Sure, maybe, if I can get a better setup. But the setup's lost. At that point, the setup's lost if we break it. Now, I would expect most likely a 5th wave and a bounce. That's what I would expect. Now, the calamity situation would be a surprise to me. But we would be ready and profit from that, of course. But we won't be riding that down because we would stop out. And then we would sit on the sidelines and let this play out and see what happens. Like we did with Coinbase. See what happens. Now, you see, the cycle is over. That's why we need to be careful that this isn't... A lot of people could be saying this is a 5th wave. You got to be careful. This may not be a 5th wave. This could be a connector. And if it is, you get the calamity setup. The calamity. Where it comes down here. Okay. That's why we don't open our stop losses. That's why we don't try to buy wave 5s like most people try to do that are Elliott wave chess players, traders. We just buy where it was logical, had a little pump, good reaction, great. Now we'll decide. If the market is ready to turn, it's got to turn next week, right? It's got to follow through with this impulse. And then if it does that, we're just sitting pretty. We're just going to sit pretty and let this cycle play out and be patient. And hopefully 12 to 18 months from now, we'll be up in this box. And I'll be saying, let's take some profit or sell it all. But for now, we're just going to kind of hang around here and see what happens. Okay. Rinaldo, let's go in to your question here. Again, I will go to all the super chats. I always go to my members first. XRP. I think people are starting to catch on the internet what I'm talking about with XRP, guys. They're all catching on. So that may mean it may just start to pump now. About the accumulation philosophy. So here we are. Once we need that fifth wave. If we don't get the fifth wave, like I said, it's still corrective. It could still swing down. But the way I would play this, again, accumulation, sell. We did it down here. Accumulate, sell. We didn't care how this was labeled. I could have labeled this 5 different ways. This is where sometimes if you're really into the Elliott wave theory and you're too orthodox about Elliott wave analysis, you won't know what to do. Sometimes you just have to understand that you do the best you can with the labeling, but you understand the charts. And you're like, okay, I'm going to buy it here and accumulate. And then I'll wait and wait and wait. And finally, we got a vertical move. And now we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to wait, and we'll get this move eventually, even if we dip back down here. But we don't have a fifth wave. A fifth wave would really give us confidence that this low is good. But until then, we just don't know. All right, Mike, four super chats there. Thanks again for that. Let's go to Geo Group. Looks like it's almost in a buy area here. Very close. See, very close. It's a 4 though, but let's confirm our chart. Yeah. See, this peak took them all out, so it's a 4. So it's almost in a buy area for 4. What if it doesn't work out and just drops? Well, then it's a corrective move. Normally, if it's a corrective move, it would take out all these peaks, and it didn't do that. So the odds are it is not a corrective move. So you're hoping it stays supported, but there you go. It should be close to a buy at any moment here. Mara is another one. We're patient, right? Did we buy and FOMO in Mara at 17 here? No. Oh no, we didn't. We didn't. We didn't. Here we are. Now Mara, I'd like to see it break 13. Now once it does that, it could end at any moment. Mara can end at any moment. Once we break 13.12, I think Mara can end at any moment. Now the ideal buy is between the 2 and the 4, right around $12, $10. Using the system that I use, it could see as low as 9.48. But like we said, things in crypto could truncate. We're starting to see the divergence erase. We're starting to see the capitulation. So that's the count. That's the count for now. But as you can see, you're at the end of the cycle now. Let's say, could it be a 1-2-1-2? Let's see, maybe. Taking this peak out does open that possibility while maintaining the high at 13.05. So I don't think that's going to happen, though. I just don't think that's going to happen, looking at the big picture. So I think this is still what I'll go with. And I think at some point, don't be disappointed if it doesn't come down here and you miss the move. I think at some point you got to just start buying it and add laddering in, because if you look at the swings, that you're already in the last swing. You're in the last swing. Again, it could truncate, it could go deep. So the ideal setup is here, ideal. But it could just do something like that. That's it. If we do end it here, I would have to say it's a 1-2-1-2 setup, and then uber bullish. But we'll know that with the break of the cycle, right? But we're still in the downtrend. You see this downtrend? We're still in the downtrend. Now, if we let's say we don't get any dump, let's say Monday it's super bullish and the market's green and Mara goes to 17, 18, well then we're in a 1-2, 1-2, and just like we were Bitcoin, we want to be aggressive and play the wave 3. But until we get that cycle, we don't want to do that here. We need to wait. We either need to get the breakout or we need to wait and buy it at the right time. TSLL is basically married to Tesla, right? It's you know, I do try to chart it for people that are interested in it, but I would say that, you know, one thing that TSLL shows is potentially Tesla could make that fifth wave down, because we never got to 1350, the ideal buy area, from this peak, from this 3-wave peak. So there's always a chance we come back down into here. So that there's a possibility that this could come do the same thing, you know, and come back down. But for now, it's the same count as Tesla. It's the same count. And again, we're looking for wave Y. If we go down lower, fine. We go down lower, its axis down here. Now, depends on what happens here. Will it be in 3 or will it be in 5? If it's in 5, it does. Remember what I showed you earlier with Tesla. If this comes down in 5, it's an A, B, C. It does that. If it comes down in 3, then X is done. So we just don't know yet. But for now, that's the count. That's the count. Okay. Tillray, like I said, I don't like to buy Tillray until the indices top and have a massive capitulation day. Now, the thing is, the bear market. So, like, because of the fractal nature of Tillray, there's really no other way to get it. So when the indices hit this wave 3, and we pull back in 4, that'll be the time to buy Tillray. This is not the time typically to buy Tillray, unless it's Moon Boy, unless we're going to erase divergence, blow the 3 out of the water, and it's the $5,000 stimulus, and everyone's rich, you know, for at least a month. Now, I would say that Tillray will run again. These will run again. These are going to run again, but the chart on Tillray is a mess to try to forecast. That's why I had to go to the fractal nature of the chart. Okay, we'll go to the fractal nature of the chart. Look at this capitulation that had to happen. Look at that capitulation. That's a massive capitulation event, right? Everyone thought that was the low. It went down to the 2618 the wrong way. And then it mooned. It'll do the same thing. So we have to ask ourselves, I think everyone thought that was the low, right? I think that's where people thought. So that's 53.7 cents. So it could still go down. It could still lose 50%. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to buy it until it's better sync with the indices, and so you just have to stay away from it. But when it does bottom, yeah, you'll get that. But the reason it did that is the small caps and everything pumped. It was like everything rallied because of, you know, the stimulus, you know, whatever was happening, the stimuluses and all that shit. So yes, at some point we'll get a big pump, but I believe you're at risk for more downside in Tillray. And we don't bottom fish on our channel. We don't just start buying shit randomly. We're not just buying it and buying it and buying. We're not buying shit randomly with hopes of riches. We don't think like that on our channel. We buy logically. Now, the ideal situation to buy Tillray would be a big move and then a pullback, and then we could buy the pullback. But that's not a big enough move. That little candle ain't nothing. That's not big enough. We need something like that and a pullback. Then we can look at it again. We tried to buy the 3-wave reaction out. The 3-wave, it didn't work. That's the bottom. That's what we thought that was the bottom. It didn't work. Okay? It didn't work. Now, I hope you made some money on this. I know a lot of people did and took some profit. It didn't work, and now we're out. So now we're going to have to wait. So that's exactly what happened back there, guys. That's exactly what happened. So let's understand the fractal nature of the market. TGT. TGT is Target. How's Target doing? So Target, why did I put it? Oh yeah, so so if I look at Target, we have a 5-wave move down, and then we have a connector, and that gets you to $34. That's pretty bearish, right? That's a pretty horrible chart for the company. But let's just confirm it's 5 down. So you see that erasure of divergence. Whew. If I was a long-term investor, that makes me feel good. How about the weekly? Even better. Okay, so that isn't happening. So that's good. Like I said, I was just playing. I must have had this chart playing around with it. So it's not 5 waves. It looks like 5 waves, right? A lot of people in Elliott waves would have said, "Oh, it's 5 waves." It's not. It's not, because RSIs don't support that view. It's really just a big, I would say, 3-wave move. A big 3-wave move like this. Okay. So you're off the low. You put the wave 3, 4 here. You could put it there. You could put it in a lot of different places. You know, just looking at it, I probably do something like this, where you have like a 1, 2, a 3. You know, like obviously a 3 here, a 4 and a 5, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that is what I'm thinking. And now you're retracing the whole thing. And that gets you right to 120.95, where it bounced. You see that wiped out divergence. So to me, that looks like a nice 3-wave move down there. In this ABC connector. And now we're building off of this low at 119. You go, whoa, what about the gap, the gap, the gap? Well, I mean, the gap might not fill. A lot of unfilled gaps out there, especially off the massive declines. Now, if we take this out, we'll still be in the same corrective cycle. So what will happen, we can't rule out, could fill the gap. So we could still fill the gap and be bullish, because we're still in the same corrective cycle. We're still in the same corrective cycle. The correction is not over. The bounce was not big enough. It looked nice. It looked pretty. But that just signified a 3-wave move. So it could have a bigger 3-wave move coming. We could see something like that, you know, where it does come down here. So maybe it does fill the gap. But it's got to hold. It's got to hold 98. It's got to hold 98. So I think for now we'll just kind of. I'll let you decide how you want to trade. I don't see a trade setup in it, other than trading against this low. But it could easily take another leg lower and do something like that. But this low has to hold. If this low doesn't hold, well, we saw you saw where that chart ended up, down here. So that's got to hold. It's got to hold. If it doesn't, then this is the connector SIP here, right? And a massive A, B, C, and so it'd be nice that this stays. If we break it, you know, then I'd be concerned. But what if there's divergence and you break it? Well, then it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bounce and then crash. So if I was long, I really want to see this pivot hold. But it doesn't quite have to if it can erase divergence and keep this high. But if it turns into 5 with bullish divergence not erased, you know, with divergence not erased, it could still bounce and then trap people and then crash later. All right. Again, just kind of going into different things that people are mentioning, asking me about UVIX. UVIX to me, guys, is not something I'm willing to trade at this point or recommend unless you need to hedge your position somehow. Because you got, but the UVIX right now looking for this 3-wave move higher. This is the area of resistance and a flat. I still see more downside because we broke this low, the short-term low. And I don't think we followed through enough. Let me see. Let me just verify. You see, I think I just don't see, and again, we broke this. We keep breaking lower lows no matter what happens here. So this is the UVIX chart. I still see it this way, but I do see it at some point. It ends, and then all hell breaks loose in the market. Probably when this pattern completes. This pattern should keep you up at night if you're long. At some point, if this pattern breaks out, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, it'll pretty much just go, it'll probably just do that. And the UVIX, you know, will do that. And the markets will essentially crash, guys. The markets will crash. Crash forever? No, just be a crash. Probably crash in this wave, right? Which wave? This wave. That's probably that wave. My guess is that's that wave. My guess that that's this. And that's why I said when this comes, it may happen in one trading day. It may happen in 1 or 2 trading days. The whole thing. You come up to 630, 640, and then you wake up and you're down at 560 and you're like, what the hell just happened? And it's over before you even started. Just like happened in August. Just be careful. And that's the UVIX. That's the UVIX, guys. That's the UVIX doing that shit to you. That's the UVIX. But that's a chart. So just understand where we are in the cycle. Right? But the UVIX can keep going lower. And it still looks like, to me, it's got to grind lower still. And if you're fortunate and if you're bullish, it just keeps going lower and lower and lower and lower. And we never see that moment. And the weekly never has an opportunity to break out, and it fails. And this weekly just comes back down, and it just doesn't work out. That's what so that's why we don't play patterns like that. We don't play a pattern like guessing. We wait and we react to the situation given to us. But I don't see any setup other than it could be into resistance here. We'll have to wait and see. PLL is in a long-term accumulation area. You're going to have to be really patient. You're going to have to be really patient with it if you believe in it, if you have the conviction to believe in it. If you're looking for a short-term pump, you're looking at the wrong place. But here's our setup. A 1, 2. Fast forward 2 to 3 years from now, we'll hopefully sitting pretty. And we'll look like geniuses for buying it. But can it fail? If it breaks 654, the setup's lost. It's going much lower. Because this reset the whole cycle. This jump reset the whole decline. So this is a second chance entry for those that missed this original pump. Much better opportunity. See, we were calling, when we were trading PLL, we were like not sure about this fifth wave. We weren't sure, you know, and then it started to pump and people were so mad. Oh, you missed it. I missed this move. Damn it, Elliott Wave Sage. You don't know what, you know, F you, Elliott Wave Sage. And now we got the pullback and we're getting in. And it's almost not fair to the people that just stuck their neck out randomly and bought the low because they have not, like, now we have a risk reward. We have a better entry and now we're coming in to see, but now I'll try it. And that's how people feel about China right now. China's like up here, right? China's up here. China's going to pull back, and when it does, we'll come back in on China. We don't need to chase it. This stuff always pulls back, guys. Everything pulls back. Here, look, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, out. Reversal. That's what we're looking for. That's PLL. All right, next question. And Luca... let's see here. In this Y wave, well exceeded expectations. We want to take this peak out. Let's look at the daily. It's already done it. So it's close to ending, right? You have 3 and 3. It's close. It can always extend. I think it could extend a little bit more. But then after that, it's over for a while because then it's got to consolidate. Typically, it will consolidate back down in 3, and then it will just pump again. Just do the same thing again. That's what you're looking for. So you could see a consolidation soon, right? That's what you're looking for at this point. But it's actually pretty long. You know, I have it as 3. If I make it impulsive, it changes the chart a little bit. So let me try to make this an impulse, and then you can decide how you wanna trade it. Yeah, it won't work. We're gonna again see this is why, because I only see 3 up, but let's just for the sake of things, you know, I make this some kind of ABC 1, 2, ABC. Yeah, maybe I do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for like a 1, 2. Again, I don't know if the RSI supports. See, RSI doesn't support that count. So it's only 3 waves. It's only 3. So again, I'd have to be so it'd have to do something like this then. Have to do something like this. So it'd have to be, if it's an impulse, it'd have to be moving in 3s, a lean in diagonal off the low, something like that, and it'll do something like that. So that's possible too. And you get a little pullback like this on this C leg, which is possibly finishing up, because it looks like a 5th wave. Right, it looks pretty extended. You get the 4. And you get the 5. So one or the other. But time to ring the register probably. Could it keep going a little bit higher? Maybe, but that's kind of where we are with that. ADTN. Off the low, it looks like we have an impulse off the low. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an extended 5th wave. So it does show some danger here of a bigger pullback. Back down to $7. So you need to be careful. But it is an impulse off the low, right? That's always a good sign that you have more upside. Bigger picture. We broke that low there. That's not good. We are holding the all-time low. But let's look at the monthly. Race divergences, and this is obviously a monthly time frame chart we need to look at. So, I mean, again, something like that. And then it does something 1, 2, 3, A, something like that. Then comes out. And then you're building off the low. That's what you're looking at. But can always extend and accelerate. You may not get this pullback, but good luck on that. EL. So EL is in an area that obviously, what a collapse, spectacular collapse. And why did I have it labeled this way? Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why I wrote that there. I think I was just probably trying to make a point. But obviously that looks like the bottom, right? It has to be. It has to hold. This has to hold for the bullish structure to remain intact. Now, I think I showed this because there's always a chance it does this Celsius-like thing like that. But if you believe in the chart, you would have to believe that it's trying to come out of the low here. It's trying to come out of that low. It's got to hold 63.88. But don't be surprised if it does the whipsaw. And then Jupiter. We did look at that before, I think. Um, well, it's got to be getting hit with Solana being. Is it let me read your thing. Jupiter on Solana. I'm not sure. Not sure which one it is, but I mean I'll just show you here. Let me go back to I had this already. I think I've been asked Jupe before. There it is. Guess my chart's gone on it. So you have a 5-wave move off the low. You have 3. Looks like another 5 and another 3. So I showed Solana maybe had bottomed. Maybe this is bottom too, because you said it's tied to Solana, right? I think it's tied to Solana, right? Now, this is an ugly impulse, but it does show the divergence. I could label it. So I would just say that this could be that. I mean, this could be that, right? But it has to hold. This level right there, 62 cents. So I won't worry too much about labeling this for now. Just worry about it holding 62 cents, holding that 3-wave structure, and we can come back and label this later. But it should see more upside in the future. Okay, we should see a wave 3 in the future. NEM. Let's see here, NEM. So NEM looks like we had this big wave 2, big top, and we came up in 5, and we had a big flat crash, and so we're building off of 36, and now we're pulling back. So it's got to hold 36, or right here, 36.88. It's got to hold that. You see the peak? You see all that? That could be a massive extended 5th wave, by the way. So let's take a look. I'm going to label it as an extended 5th wave, and then we'll have to just wait and see if that's what happens. If that's a massive 5th wave, we come all the way back to $40. Seems to like the flat, right? Look, it seems to like these deep corrections. So maybe you'll get something like this. But more than likely, it's going to hold that low at 36 and push higher. But I would be careful. It's a danger here. Now, the bigger picture, the bigger bear case is that it's a down in A, B, and C. And if I think that happens, we're probably breaking this low. And that would be like lights out to the... Because this is a big gold miner. Right? And that would be a whole nother leg lower in 2. So there's no trade setup, but I'm just showing you what I think the chart is. And then you can decide how you want to trade it. You see there's no divergence to monthly cycle, which is the higher time frames the most important. Now, if we saw divergence, I wouldn't label it this way, but I don't. And I see a nice bullish move here. So I think that's the count you go with for now. I think you go with this and see what happens. Okay, so SMCI, I gave that update before. I said it was going to see higher prices, right? But then I said, what did I say after that? When it's in this area, you could wake up and all your money can be gone. All your money can be gone, guys. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you. If you're trading this shit, okay? You have 5 down and 3 up. I told you this is a dangerous area. We were probably going to get in there. We got there. Now you have massive event risk on this chart. Because if you wake up, this company may be zero. You got to understand, I can't tell you enough. If you better just be like, this is money I don't care to lose if you're in it. I do know that I heard on the internet that there is a delisting coming potentially to the stock in a week if they don't get their shit together. What if they're going to get delisted? What if the shareholders are wiped out to zero overnight? You'll look like a fool for buying it. You'll look like a freaking idiot. I mean, come on. So you got to be careful buying this. I can't stress it enough. There's so many other symbols to trade, but it is in an area of danger. So I think you guys going to have to decide what to do. I think so let me go back to your question. Are we in a fourth wave? Wave 2 seems short. To me, this is the second wave off of this impulse. This is a full impulse down, and you have 3 up. And this is a C leg, so we can look at this, and we ended in 3. But as you know, we can move in 3. We don't have to be in an ABC. This could be a WXY and be finished here. Now, the 4-hour supports doesn't really see. There's a little bit of divergence there at that peak on A, but it's so close. I mean, what if it's a WXY? If it's a WXY, it's already peaked. But to your point, if it's not, then this is a 4. We'll get one more high, one more marginal high. So I think we'll just leave it like this, with one more marginal high, maybe in 5 to create that divergence. But if it doesn't do that, it's a WXY and it's already peaked and it's lights out. Understand what you're trading. That's all I'm trying to tell you guys. But to me, the path of this is clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. ABC. I mean, this is an Elliott wave impulse in reverse. That's what this looks like to me. That's what it looks like. But good luck on buying that or selling it or whatever you want to do with it. DNA is in an area that you know, it's getting close to a potential buy opportunity for speculators at 1041 with a stop way down at $7, but you're playing the long game on it if you try. But the small caps have been really sucking wind. It's really a slave to the Russell. I do think the Russell should find more upside, and you're looking for this big pattern to play out, and this is the area to pick it up. We did get that little reaction here, but that failed, so it looks like a bigger double correction is happening. It's pretty binary, and you're erasing divergence here. So yeah, if you want to try to pick it up, this is where you pick it up. Hex. I thought Hex coin got delisted or some shit, but maybe it's something else. Maybe you're telling me something else. I don't know what that is. If it doesn't come up in TradeView, I can't do it. All right, there we go. It looks like we got it, so we're good. Let's take a look. Again, pretty much a go to zero chart. But what we do with the go to zeros is we label it from the lowest peak. Looks like 3 up, 3 down, and here you have 1, 2, 3, another 3 up. Let's look at RSI. It's again not anything I would particularly want to trade, but it's in the called the area of indecision because it's in a 3-wave move. It's in a connector within like a connector wave here. So you're really stuck. It could be this. It could still be an X and go down another swing, right? So it could be a lot of things here, but I don't want to trade it. And there's too many ways to label it. I would just say that if I look closer at it, it looks like 1, 2, 3 connector, 1, 2, 3. This is, so again, it could be this, and then it could be something like that and that. I could put that there, put it like that. Too many ways. I can't chart it other than there's no clear path other than it needs to stay above this low, and you have to build off of that low. If it is, this is the most bullish path, and the most bullish path to me would need to support this low at right here. It would need to support this low, and then it would need to build off of that to push it out. So that's what but once you lose this low, it could fall substantially. Okay. Nvidia is going into earnings, and unfortunately, the setup is looking more bearish for investors that are long, but it's not. It's a sideline stock. I don't recommend trading it into earnings unless you want to speculate and gamble, because the setup is very 50-50. There's no real big clue that's going to help you figure out what's going to happen. You only have a three-wave move up. You don't have an impulse. So this could easily wipe out. This could easily become a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're back down to the 80s, right? Or it could become a end in diagonal, where this is an ABC, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this you'll get a little bit more downside and you get the 3. So it's too binary to play. But that's it. But I think you have to just wait on the sidelines and see what happens. Taking this peak out though would be pretty significant. MSOS is probably in the same situation as the sector, but it's played, it has different stocks part of it. So, we could go back to the was it around in 2020 when Tillray, yes, it wasn't around. So we don't really know how it would behave with just one stock misbehaving. But again, if you're playing this, you're just going to have to be patient. This is something you don't put a lot of money in, but you just put money in that you don't need, don't worry about for a while. It hit the 317. This is like the extreme area here. So it's, like I said, I still think when I look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. I mean, it looks like it's trying the bottom. But if you're hoping for instant riches, you need to go somewhere else. It's not going to happen. Okay, but I think if we go back like 2 years into the future, my channel's still around, I'm willing to bet we're up here. But how we get there could be quite painful. And a lot of people don't have the money management right, don't have the patience, nor the conviction. But this is the setup. This is the setup we're in right now. And you'll have to decide what you want to do. I can't tell you whether to take a loss or not, but that's the chart I see. And I don't know how Tillray factors into this, if at all, because Tillray is just one stock in a big ETF. Okay. Mara needs more downside, but I gave my Mara update. You can listen to that later. My Mara would say that you'll have to be smart about that, picking that up, but you'll have to make it. But they're very different sectors, different stocks, completely apples to oranges. Completely apples to oranges. Alberto, I'm looking for yours. Okay, there you go. IBIT and Zcash. Okay, Zcash, that's an interesting one. We don't hear that one much on my channel. So like the ideal buy would be right here at 49.72. 49.72. Now bigger picture, coming off the low. You you see, we didn't take this peak out here. So, you know, my guess is it's like a 1, 2, 1, 2, something like that. Let's take a closer look at everything. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, right there. I don't put that as a 3 because the RSI peak didn't take this out here. That's what that looks like. So that's what it looks like to me. So good luck on it. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, and then let's see. The other one you had was Zcash. I think I have that. Oh, that's the Grayscale product. Yeah. Grayscale product. We did call the buy area here. We got the pump, but now the pump is over. So again, like all the other products, you got to wait for the premium. I don't know what the premium is. We'd have to calculate that. We have to calculate the premium. Looking at the chart, it's like trying to double bottom here. But see, that breaks that low. It looks 5 up to me. So I do see 5 up off this low. And we truncate. We haven't quite broke it. So it's probably some kind of 1, 2 off this low. And then this looks like 3. 3, something like that. And that's your connector. And then it capitulates down. But it has to stay above $1 at that $1 area. Again, it always goes back to what's the premium, right? And then what's Zcash trading at? Let's look at Grayscale Zcash. See if I can do that math real quick. So I'm looking at it here. Trying to pull it up. It's hard to pull up because I guess nobody really knows about it anymore. So Grayscale Zcash Trust. Why won't it come up? It's really interesting. It's not. The other ones come up pretty quickly for me. Let me try this. I'll go to the Grayscale website here. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's just I have to go into their deep into their website to find this. Maybe that tells you everything you need to know. It's hard to even get to the product that Let's see here. I think I got it. I think I'm going to get to this here. We won't give up. Boy, they've added quite a few other things on here. All right, so got it up here. So we get you get 0.0832 Zcash per share. So you got to buy 12 of these things to get one Zcash. So it's trading at 41.70 Zcash. And Zcash is trading today, right now, at let's see here, $36. So it's almost 1-to-1, right? It's not bad. So about 15% premium still. So yeah, it could breathe down a little bit more. So it's going to breathe down a little bit more. That's what I'm thinking. But it's close to 1-to-1. It's close to 1-to-1. Okay. TGT and Cure are the biggest holdings. All right, I'll try to check those for you real quick. So that's also in a buy area. Again, our chart could be off a little bit. It could be just a fifth wave, but it's in a buy area. The same, looks like the same chart. Look at that bullish divergence. And that's the wave 5 nature of this B. And then we should see the divergence essentially erasing on the higher time frames. So I think, again, it looks okay. That looks okay to me. Next is GTBF. So this one moved up already in C. So that low has to hold 642 to keep this intact. But you see, you only moved up in 3. So this one's a little more bearish. But again, we've already shown before it could do something like this. But it can break that low, and it can break this low. But it doesn't have to do that. It could easily be impulsive. And I could label this a lot of different ways. I could label that as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a flat. There's a lot of possibilities here. But it looks okay, but it is a nail biter. This one is a nail biter, for sure. It's a nail biter. If that low breaks, it could usher in more downside. And that does not look like we've done this one before. Now this one doesn't look good. This looks almost like a Tillray. So this one looks like you have 3 down, and now you're in a bigger connector. With so it's kind of the same setup, where like short term, it could be okay, but long term, it's going to have some issues. So it's some kind of that's an ABC. Yeah, so it's probably like something like that. W, and then this X, like I said, ideally you wanted it to end there, but it didn't. There's your peak. So we have a 3-wave move down to here. So probably something like that is what I'm thinking. And then this has to play out. So something like, you see why it's such a mess? something like that. And it's 162, so it looks like it almost got there. So 162 would be the area where it could find that reversal right here. So again, I think that's how you have to play it, something like that. And then but that one did break the low. So the first one looked the best of them all, but all of them look like they need to do something like this, bounce more, a bigger swing. Netflix is in a potential dip buy area, but I think there is a risk that the dip could fail because you could be at the end of a major peak. So if wave 5 does not extend and it's over, Netflix will go lower. So, but it is a dip buy area. I'm expecting a reaction, but it's likely to fail and come back to the wave 4 or even fill the gap, marking the top at 5, marking the top of a major cycle potentially. If it does extend, you would want to bounce here and you won't get the double correction, and wave 5 will push higher. So it is a dip buy here, but I would put a stop loss at 978. Okay, I got through all the elite member super chats, so now I'm going to circle back and get the non-member super chats. So I'm just going to go back at the top and make sure I get everybody's that I skipped over. So Teladoc is in wave, like a bigger pullback that I would say that is, again, it's getting hurt by the Russell index. It looks like it's in this 4. You see it got the connector, and it looks like it could find support at 1084. It could be like a big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you have to look. We always keep an open mind. It could be just a corrective bounce, but it would need to be much more bearish. Would need to, once we break that, if we break this trend line, then I would be worried it's just a corrective bounce, and the trade may be lost. But again, our followers got in much earlier, so we're not worried about it. But if you happen to, I chased it here, oops, it's going to be painful, and you could lose some more money. But I wouldn't be concerned about it unless it got down into this area, started breaking this trend line. But this is the bounce area we're looking for in Teladoc. Shiba about to start. I'll say Shiba, I was looking at that the other day and didn't really see a clear setup that I was looking for to recommend a trade on it. But like all of crypto, we're hoping to see a move higher. So Shiba Inu is moving in 3 waves since its existence. And this is kind of what we're looking for. We're in this connector. Could be over here, but we could still be in it. I think it's over, but I'll be honest, I think that was and then we're in this first A off the low, like a first A wave in something like this. That's what I'm thinking right now. Actually, be more like that. But I think, let me just double check everything real quick. Yeah, see that's a big extended 5th wave. That's why it lost so much. Cryptos love extended 5th waves, by the way, which makes it so hard to get out at the top. So that's the count I'm looking for. But because it's moving in 3 waves, it's very difficult to get good setups. There was one here, but robots beat you to it. Like, I think it got bought before you even had a chance to buy it because that was the connector for the, so as long as you're above this little wick, more upside. You break that, you're in the bigger connector, and it could fall it could fall dramatically. It can come back down to this lower area, and the worst case is you're still in this connector. So so kind of do or die here for your holders, I think, in this coin. It does seem like it's about to start. I think it's about to start, but what do I know? What do I know? I think it's about to start though. Okay, AMC AMC is just trying to push higher, right? It's again slave to the Russell. I keep saying that the Russell index rules the market, right, for these smaller stocks, and then people get behind them, and then they move at a different degree. But right now it's pulling back in a two wave off of an impulse off the low. The thing is, C could be done here. And if C is done, X is done, and if X is done, then you got Y, right? So we don't quite know for sure. Our members who are members in the pro group, we were able to buy it down here, so we don't really care too much what happens up here. A lot of them took profit up here and they made a lot of money very quickly. Some of them are going to hold for the bigger prize. I think it could have a bigger pump in X. Potentially even morphing this into a bigger connector off of the whole cycle on Y. I'm sorry, off of this X and extending it in a big three waves. So there's a lot of possibilities, which is why we were aggressively buying it back here. But now we just got to wait and see what the market does. But we are in this two wave. It does look like it's got 5 down and a connector. It looks like it needs to push lower a little bit more. And then we'll see if it gets the bigger move higher, or we push down, break these lows, and it's down in this final push. GameStop here. Thank you for thanks. I'm glad you guys are happy with my channel. We're in this like 1-2-1-2 setup. Left shoulder ahead, right shoulder. This is the reversal we're looking for. We've all been dreaming about. If you're GameStop shareholders, it's not fair for people that just get in now. You've been so dedicated and devoted and held through all this shit, and you're hoping to finally get paid. That's what you're hoping for. But again, nothing's guaranteed. If we do break this low, I think this corrected this whole move, and this is down in 3, up in 3, and we'll take a whole another series lower in 3, and that will get us back down to these lower areas. And that's just the way it goes. But for right now, the bullish setup's intact, so I'm showing that. And then ETH is another one that has an opportunity for if the market wants to give it to us, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna do that. But you never know. We never know. The market may give us an opportunity. So the opportunity was right here at 1883. You see, we got 2061. We didn't quite get it, so that too could be in. But if it does want to take another dip down, we will want to buy it there. And there's your wave 4. And it could even come back down to 1432. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying if it does that move, if Bitcoin is going to do this and ETH is going to do that, that's where you want to buy it. But it wouldn't surprise me if the correction's already over here. Now, you do have some bullish divergence. That's a little bit of a warning sign right there that maybe it won't do that. And then you have this monthly as well, right at the do or die moment. So we got to be careful with Ethereum. But for now, you know, I'm going to label it this way, but I do have a chart set up for a dip buy if it does break, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get another low, only because this looks like a flat. And then this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it looks like to me. And that would coincide with a Bitcoin dip. Now, if Bitcoin doesn't do that, then obviously that's not going to happen, and it's over. And it's not a flat. It's you know, it's just a 3-wave move down, and we would just have to slide this around a little bit. We probably put the 1 there, and probably just relabel it as a 1, 2, 1, 2 or something. We'd have to look at the labeling. I'll worry about that later. But whatever happens here, big picture, look at that reversal pattern. It's just, oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. But it may require more pain to get the rewards of that pattern. But for now, I'm labeling it this way. Okay. Good luck on it. IWM is erratic in a connector, and it's not really tradable anymore. There was a little bit of dip by entry that gave basic all our members got that. We got the bounce, and then we stopped out there, made a little bit of money. Some people took profit there, and now once we stopped out, the market blew, gave it up, and then now I think it's in just a bigger three-wave move. So I think you have 3 and 3, and you have 3 and 3. So it should end at any moment. I can't really project the target, but I am still looking for this bigger move up. In this move up has the possibility of taking this high out, and if it does, it could turn into an impulse. So as long as this low holds, I got to be careful being, I don't want to short because I want to respect it because there's no short setup. But I would say that the buy setup was lost unless something else emerges. But this is what I think the IWM is going to do. Just going through my comments. IVVD. Well, up 46%. I think we kind of had the idea, general idea. So just kind of an uglier chart, right? So let's make sure we're not moving in threes. So you see you have 5 down, so it's corrective. So we never got the 4-wave up. You got 5 down. So to me, it looks like it's a corrective move. And because we never got the 5th wave, and we got 5 down. Well, maybe not. Nope, we got 3 down. See, looks can be deceiving. You always got to check the RSI out. Always have to check that RSI out. So we have 1, 2, 3, a connector, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 down. So maybe we can't get another high out of it. Maybe we can't get another high out of this thing after all. And then so we're bullish off of 121, and we needed an impulse. So I believe, or a 3-wave move. So I'll be looking for something like that, as long as you're above 116. IBRX is an old one that we used to get. I used to get a lot of people asking about. Not too many people these days ask about it. Not sure why. We had the buy here, guys. By the way, on my channel, way back when, back here, and we got like a moon, and then we had another buy here, and it did even better, more spectacular. So we've really traded this well. Do we have another setup like this on the horizon? Let's see. That's a connector. That's 5 down. That's 3 down. So you're some kind of connector still. So it's messy, for sure. My guess is it's going to do something like this. And it's going to whipsaw around here. Like that. That's my guess. So off of that low, a little bit of bullish divergence. It's hard to label this. It could be in 3 and pull back. So I think as long as you're above 230, I'd be looking for more upside. There's too many ways to label this a little bit here. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. It could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could even be moving in 3 off the low. It could be a WXY. So it's too many possibilities, but I think that's what we're going to get because of how we bottomed on this B wave and the look of it. To me, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And see, that's right about where it would have turned. So something like that. Not a clear setup like we had back here, unfortunately. All right, let's look at your question is the high in, how deep? Well, there's not enough pullback to know if the high's in or not. You need more data. You see, so right away, you see all that bearish divergence? That's your peak RSI back in March 22. So either this is an extended fifth wave, which means all that will go away, all that, an epic collapse, or you haven't seen wave 3 yet. And you're like, what do you mean you haven't seen wave 3 yet? You haven't seen wave 3 yet. So is the top in? I don't think so, because I don't think it's going to have this kind of epic collapse. So no, the top isn't in. But does it mean it won't be a pullback? Sure, there'll be a pullback. There'll be a pullback, but the top isn't in. The grand super cycle top probably isn't in. Is my guess. Because I think that's too bearish. I think that's too bearish, right? I think you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, and you have like a 1, 2, and you're coming off that peak. That's what I think is happening here. Let me just, actually we'll do it like this. It'll be more like a 1, 2 here, right? And another 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 1, 2 right there. And then you see all the divergences? This cycle's probably over. This cycle. So the peak is in relative to that low, but is the peak in the grand super cycle? Probably not. Probably not. In fact, it's actually probably the peak off of 469. See, that can't be this wave 3 because the RSI is lower. It needs to be higher. So I bet that this cycle's over. So this peak is in off of 459. More than likely that peak is in. But would I sell it? You know, I mean, if your time frame is a long-term investor, no way. If you're a trader, yeah, it's probably the peak's over, unless this took out divergence, and it did. So it's not over. And are we surprised it's not over? No, because we just saw the grand super cycle hasn't even had a 3 of 3 yet. So no, the peak's not in. I think that's the count. It's probably going to keep extending. I don't know what this company does, but everyone loves it. Apparently everyone loves it. How deep is the downside potential? Always to the wave 4 of the next degree. So the downside potential has probably already been met. I mean, the next area of support on this chart, that if it were to go lower, if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would be at 694. That's the worst case I can see potentially is down to this area, but it's probably unlikely that that's going to happen. Now you see we have a connector here, so it's probably short term could have a little more downside because you broke the low. So maybe at 850, 831, you got the gap. You probably fill that gap, and then hopefully that should get you back on the road to riches. There you go. That's what you're hoping for. And again, this could even be another 1-2. It could even be another 1-2. The max downside move. I think this is the likely move. Looking at we broke the low. It could be erratic, but I think that's kind of where we're going with it. And then this is probably the max downside. But bigger picture, it should be okay. It should be okay. What does this company do? Is this some kind of mine systems and civil injury? Vehicle, weapons, and ammunition. Well, it sounds like a company of war. I don't know. Defense company? I don't know what they do, but strong buy fundamentally, right? Buy. It trades on the German exchange. Too bad there's no ADR. I don't know if there's an ADR of it because we'd want to buy some of that if I could get it on the American indice. But I think you can buy it on the international exchanges for those who have access to it. But thanks for that. All right, I'm just looking at AIFF. And some kind of biotech play. So you got an impulse. That's a start. That's good. That shows you should have some follow through. But we can't get too excited because we have to always look at the bigger picture. And the problem is this should be an impulse if this is the connector. And this could be the connector. And we'll get that push down. So more than likely that's the connector finishing up. And now it's got a whole new cycle lower until you take out 17. But this is too dramatic of a sell-off. I mean, I wouldn't expect an extension looking at this chart because we broke the low like we did there. But I'll try to give you my best take on it, because you wanted an impulse in C and you got it. You got the rejection. You got this in 3. Yeah, I mean, so I'll be looking for more downside. I think you have an impulse down that's finishing up, so you may get a counter trend rally soon. So if it can hold 704, there's a chance C can extend. So you don't have an impulse yet until that low breaks. But once that breaks, I think the trend is set lower. Yes, it will bounce counter trend, but it should go lower. But if it doesn't do that, and this is down in 3 like it shows here, well then this could become a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and go higher. So I wish I knew, but look, it's not, you're not getting that rejection. It looks like it's trying to end the cycle. Maybe you'll get a deeper move, a bigger move off the high there. Maybe it'll surprise people. Whoops, I don't know what that was about there. So maybe this will surprise people and run higher. And extend C. So that's the idea. Now looking off this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it's either here or it's going to extend. So there's hope. The bulls have hope. But once this low breaks, it can make a 5 and come up and then drop. Or worst case, it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's lights out, game over. So tough call. I think I'm sniffing out an extension here, trying to take place on this chart, is what I'm sensing. So I'll label it this way, and you can decide how you want to play it. So again, I don't recommend bullish instruments on the grand super cycle trading in and out unless you're trying to short these things, or I'm sorry, trying to scalp them, or you have a different trading flaw, because you'll never be able to time the market perfectly, and you're just giving up your position on the grand super cycle. So this one does not look good. Is the low in? Wow, this is an ugly chart. So here's your 3, 5. So there's your 3 and 5. Now, see, look at the blow off extended 5th. So anytime you see a blow off extended 5th like this, the corrections are horrific. Usually, you lose the whole thing. Almost every chart I look at, that happens. Now, you come down in the first wave, you bounce, and then you erase divergence, and you bounce again. So you've got this like something like that, or maybe it's a WXY, kind of irrelevant looking at the chart, because you got a WX and now you're in Y. So now this is the connector. that failed. That could have been the low, but it ended up not being the low. And now you're in the accumulation area. And really it's zero. It's this. I mean, so your stop loss is zero. Essentially, your stop loss is zero on the chart. So that's your accumulation area. If as long as the company doesn't go out of business, right? Because companies go out of business all the time. Even the companies you love and cherish shock people. So we're looking at something like that. There's your 3. There's your 3. I don't like that. You see, that's not good. I would have liked that 3 to take that out, but it didn't. It doesn't have to. Now if you look, starting to break out there. But this is the shorter cycle, so it's not weekly. But look, that's a good sign. That's a sign of a reversal. That's good. That's a good sign. So yeah, I think it's ready to bottom at any moment. But is the low in for sure? Well, based on the weekly cycle, yeah, the low's in. The low's in. So this low's got to hold. And you're already 50% off the high before you even knew what happened. Again, I don't know what it does, but whatever it does, people are going to want it again. Not sure what it, but hey, good for you. All right, so there you go. So that's a nice one. That's a nice one there. The upside can be for in the years to come could be enormous. The gains could be enormous because look, you have 5 up. So this wave 3 off of this wave 2 made it up to about the 3618. Okay, made it up to about the 3618. That puts you up to these kind of prices. 1500. I mean, that's huge. But that's the same type of gain. But that's years, decades, right? That's decades of growth potential. Now, say a safe chart, you know, if I'm just trying to be safe, you know, something like 563, 600, probably be safe. But again, this is decades of price growth. It'll probably be, you'll probably need decade, you know, so it's not going to happen overnight. Although you see the wave 3, the personality of wave 3 should happen a little bit quicker than the first wave, but the 5th wave is where all the money's made. So the 3rd wave isn't really going to be where you make the money on this thing. It's going to be the 5th wave, the next blow off top you get. So just keep that in mind. So you're going to have to really hold it. But look what happened here. If you held for that 3rd wave, you got this crash, and you would have missed all that. So that's what's going to happen if this comes out. It's going to have the same kind of personality. It's going to run hard and it's going to crash, and many are going to leave it, and they're going to leave a lot of money on the table. So just understand that. But if you buy it at these levels, you're not going to care about the crash because you're essentially buying it while it was here. Think about it. And literally it was here. Look, it made a full round trip. It made a full round trip. Isn't that something? So good luck on that. And it kind of did that too back here, right? It made a full round trip. You see? A full round trip and then a massive move. So it's very cyclical. It must be a very cyclical kind of company. A boom and bust on steroids. All right, USD CAD. Ooh, a currency. Don't get those too much. Don't get those too much. I definitely don't have that charted. But I'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. So we broke the low. We have 3 waves up. Little bit of divergence there. No divergence there. So we'll call it a bullish. We're going to call it bullish with a capitulation move off that low. So we're gonna label it this way. Oh man, that's not good. I don't want to label it that way. Never mind. Let's let's look at this a different way. We'll just label it in 3 and see if it becomes clearer. A, B, C, 1, 2, yeah. So I think it's in 3, and that's in 3. So you have a W, you have an X, now you have a Y, right? Because that's clearly X. So and we have 3 because of the RSI shows us that. And now you have 3 here. So that's the first W, right? That's the first W, and then you have 3 there, and now you have Y, right? Now, could you still be an X? It's possible. Unlikely. And now you're in Y, and you're probably in the first pullback in smaller degree W of Y. And you get that, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. One, two, and then 3, 3. So this is it definitely moves in 3-wave increments for sure. So we're in some kind of probably consolidation here, is what I'm thinking. And then we get a bigger move higher. So this would be if this is going down in price, that means the Canadian dollar is strengthening, right, against the dollar. I think that's what that means, right? The dollar's getting weaker. So this is saying some dollar weakness, right? And then this is dollar strength, which we kind of know, kind of expect something like that's coming. But you can't rule out you're still in X. That's the thing. Because and I don't really like how this W looked compared to some of these others. Not very impulsive. So we need to be careful that as long as you're below 147.9, you need to be really careful it doesn't turn into something like this. Okay? Just saying. But for now, we'll label it this way, and you can decide how you want to play it. And we're really using the RSIs to give us the clue on how to label this properly. But where can we expect a whole new paradigm in this in trading this? Probably probably it's probably heading up there over time. It's probably gonna do something like this. Over the next years, something like that. So it looks like this trend will continue for quite a while. But then at some point when it peaks, you'll have an epic decline. Then you'll be in a whole new cycle, and we'll do it all over again. So good luck on that. Baba, so Alibaba is getting a lot of FOMO, chasers in it. It'd be better to just, if you want to go long it, wait up for a pullback. But clearly it's pushing out. So the first thing we said was we had this, see how we broke that low here and we had that 3 waves and we came up in 5. But you see this was the area where it was like fighting the sellers, but the sellers lost. So now it's turned into something different. Like, well, what did it turn into now? What did it turn into now? So we have to, once that happens, we have to look at the bigger picture and see, are we missing something, right? Are we missing, what could we possibly be missing? And the only thing I can think of, just looking at this, again, I'm just trying to study the chart. We did have the major low in here, too. We had a nice 3-wave move too. What's in question was this wave all along, and so, we look at this. We have, ideally you just say, oh, the 2's in, and you're in a wave 3. But we have to be careful that it isn't something a little more sinister. let's just take a look at a couple charts. You see that chart right here in this area where it is now? It's possible, but it's not. It's it's possible that you get the flat. It does something like that. I know it seems unbelievable. How could this happen to me? If you're like, now, the clue that it could happen is what happened down here. Now, we look at it, the flat needs to be negated. So what we need to do, what we need to see here, we need to see a pullback and another high. That's what has to happen. But the problem is, if you get a pullback, it could just continue to go vertical and leave you behind. So the idea is, if we get a pullback, you could try to buy the 4. Try to buy it playing for a 4. But understand this, if you do that and you have a flat, you're going to stop out. So you'll have to decide how you want to play this. But I think for now, we have to just try to label it bullish, because that's what we're seeing, right? That's what we're seeing. But I think you still need to be careful. You still need to be careful. But if you could get a 3-wave pullback, then perhaps you could give it a try as a long. But I think I'd go with discount for now. Here's your taking out divergence. It looks like you're clearly in this wave 3 now, but you don't have a 4 or 5 yet. And I don't like how we bottomed here on this too. I just don't. So I just wonder if we had a proper capitulation or not. I just wonder. You see that right here? Just it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the future here. But if you're angry about not getting in on this trade, well, people on my channel, we actually knew the low was here and we were buying it. And in fact, I think my old videos, they're gone on this because I don't have them. But I had old videos where I had a massive China update, like go all in. My go all in China update, guys, came when we were down here, by the way, and no one wanted China. Someone said China was uninvestable. I think that was when I think JP Morgan came out, or somebody said China is uninvestable. And the minute you get to a low like this and you have articles coming out as somebody saying something's uninvestable, that means time to buy it. And so I had to have a video. So if you feel like you're left out of this, don't worry. People were able to buy it, but you see, you have to wait. You have to wait, and so they waited, and now they're getting paid. But if you want to join the trend now, we got to get a pullback. If you don't get a pullback, we just can't randomly buy it. But back then we were buying it here, and we were looking for a push lower and 2, but we didn't get it. But we did have it this way. So that's how I labeled it. But it's still in 3. Like, we haven't even pulled back. So why no SPYQ? Well, if you join my channel, I give those updates only for $5, and I just posted my weekend update, and you can hear all about my market. I missed Big Yanks. Did I miss yours? I'll go back through the super chats one more time and see. Again, maybe. Oh, I got it. I got that one. Okay, so it must have been an old comment. Yeah, I was just skipping over. Sorry, I skipped over some of them. If I did that. Yeah, I did do Big Eggs. I did go over GME, ETH, IWM. I definitely did. I definitely did that one. So maybe maybe you stepped away or something. Yeah, remember, I skip over super chats if you're not the member. If you were a member and I skipped over, I apologize. I always go to my members first. It's just part of the package is what they pay for. So if you skipped over, that's the reason. I'm just going back through all our comments. I never use log scale, the Elliott wave, and do my forecast. Never. And some people think I'm stupid for doing that. But that's something you have to decide if you want to do. I never use the log scale because you can't see the wave threes properly. You need to see, and you can't see the shape of the waves correctly. If you put that shit on a log scale, you miss you miss a lot of what Elliott wave theory is about. The shape, the personality, it's all kind of distorted. You need to really see the extensions and the blow-offs, and you miss that. So you can't do what I do with log scale. And even the pro Elliott wave guys, for the most part, won't use log scale. Some of them do, but I don't use it. Most of them, I know, the pro ones, they're not using log scales. Um, all right, I think I got through everyone's comments. Well, guys, thanks again for the super chats. I will, try to do these live streams when I can. I think next week, I think the big mover is the Nvidia earnings, and I think there's also some inflation data too next week. But I think Nvidia is like the key. What's the semiconductor sector going to do? Is going to really drive the short-term trading. But I think ultimately the longer-term view still is intact, which should be higher for a little bit more upside at least. But we'll wait and see how things play out. It's going to be a very interesting week, though. Exciting week. Bring my popcorn when that earnings report comes out for sure. But I'll be on the sidelines on that one, and then we'll react if it wants to dump down to the 98. If it wants to do that, we'll be ready. We'll be waiting to provide liquidity to the market if that were to happen. But I don't want to chase it because we only see that 3 up in Nvidia. We need to be careful being stupid bullish, right? We can't be stupid bullish, just buy calls, baby. Okay.